Sometimes you have to do a little bit of cutting. There's, you know, but if you can pull, pulling is better. Oh, there, is that the end? Oh, almost got it. As soon as I see my finger, there, see, I can see my finger now. See, and there's my finger. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just kind of open that up a bit. Okay, now what I can do is start to get the leg through. Right, so what I'm going to do is going to pull that a bit tight, and I'm going to cut right into the meat of the leg. And that'll free up the pelt to get through. Just be very careful. If you're not sure where you're at, always cut into the meat of the leg or whatever. And whatever. And don't worry about, like I said, how much meat and stuff you leave on there. Where it gets tricky is right in here. Right in this socket. So sometimes you can just tear into it. And if you get behind the leg, right here, again, just kind of tear into it a bit. Try not to wear too much of the beaver because he does kind of stink. And what you do, there we go, almost. And see, right now I'm almost all the way through. Poke my finger through. There, so one leg is out. So that's like half the battle. The other thing is, beavers have a tendency to squirm off your table while you're trying to work on them. I don't know why they do this. So, you know, just be mindful of the edge of the table. And keep an eye on any blood that might come out the nose or whatever. If it goes on the table, wipe it off the table. So we can see here. Now what I'm going to do is just take my finger gently in between the membrane and that. I'll get underneath his front leg a little bit. Be careful, right here is where it's the most tender, especially on these little guys. You can see that they can open up so easy, and when they do, it's just a catastrophe of beaver stuff that you don't want to deal with. So I'm going to roll them over a bit. Try not to roll them over too much. So again, I'm going to try to pull rather than, like, gentle but firm. You know what I mean? Like, the idea is not to open them up, right? Because right here is where it's the thinnest, and everything will come out. So even if you just rub your finger along like that, sometimes that's enough. Ideally, if you can skin the beaver the day you get them, the best. But I usually like to let my beavers dry overnight, which is not too bad. But I don't know when this guy was actually caught. So you got to be careful. Almost going to go through there. Right there. Got to watch out there. Again, just try to... so I don't know how long he's been in for. He's not stiff, so that's good. So there we go. Just don't open them up. Again, not going for a world record here. I'm just going for don't open them up. And you might find one side's easier than the other. The other thing you can do here, just to keep this process going, again, is kind of lift them up and look where the leg is. Okay, and sometimes it'll cooperate. You can just cut a couple of, you'll find there's always like a little point where it just needs to, but cut into the beaver without, again, cutting into the gut or the chest cavity. And like with this little guy here, he's kind of skinning himself, so I like that too. Again, wipe your hands. You know, so I'm at 15 minutes. I can usually do a beaver in about 20, 30 minutes. I go for, if I was going to go for record, my record I think was 15 and a half minutes or something like that. There, see, I'm on his back there now. Now, nice thing about the back is it's a lot easier to just tear things. Tear right through to the other side. See, you got a bit of cartilage right here. I'll just cut right into the beaver, away from the pelt. Always be away from the pelt. And these little guys are actually tougher in some ways to do because they're so delicate. So I'm going to cut that meaty part. Just cut the meat away from the pelt. Make sure you're always aware of where the pelt is. The whole point of a beaver knife is rounded at the end, is so you're not sticking the point in there. So, but when you get onto the tail, that's usually where it gets, you know, sometimes it's hard to tell where you are. So that's usually what confuses new trappers, is where they are. So I always cut into the, on the back side here, on his back. It's, you don't have to worry about going through the gut or whatever. So just kind of cut into the meaty parts, as long as you don't cut into the gut. right? And there is veins up around the legs. Again, watch out for that. Cut those last when you can get the pelt clearly out of the way. There you go. Ooh, that's in there. That's wow, what a hit that was. The bruise on that is like, oh, yeah, the back's broken. So that's so he would have been killed instantly. Especially a little guy like this. I mean, those traps could kill a pretty large beaver. So anyway, I'm rolling my just back here, get by the back legs. Again, wipe your hands when when you know your fingers have to go onto the pelt side. Try to wipe your hands, keep as much grease and oil off the pelt as you can. And try to figure it, always keep mindful of where you're at. Again, tear down to where you can. A piece of something flying there. So, the other thing I've learned over the years is to try to just work one way, whatever is most comfortable for you, so that you're rolling the pelt off the beaver, so you're not, because you can see how like his gut's now on the table. So if I straighten up the beaver again, his pelt's going to go into that. Right now you got grease. You're always going to get some on there, but you're trying to avoid as much as possible. So what I'm doing here is I'm coming around the other side. You can see the back side. You can see where the trap actually kind of busted him open a little bit here. There's just a very thin membrane right there holding him. That's it. And then there's cartilage here. This can get a little bit messy. Figure out between the cartilage and the yuck. But there's all the, okay, that's free. So the idea again is to just take your time with the first few that you do. I know there's guys that'll show you how to do it in 5 minutes, but usually they don't show you all the cuts that they make in the you will get faster at it as you go, right? But again, the idea here is to keep where the pelt is. And once you get anywhere, like I say, anywhere you can use your fingers, use your fingers. You gotta really pry in there sometimes. And you'll feel where the cartilage is, and that's where you can cut. It's just kind of learn by doing kind of thing. You know, I can sit here and tell you exactly how to do it a million times, but until you do it yourself, you really don't. You really won't get it. You know what I mean? You won't fully get it. But almost got the base of the pelt done here. Hopefully that wasn't the pelt that I'm coming into. Try not to put the first one of the season is the one that if you're going to make mistakes on it, make it on that one. Don't make it on any of the ones after. So anyway, I should open this guy up just a little bit more. The tail area is kind of tricky because again, it's hard to see what's where. But I'll get him about here. So, but once you're through, I'm almost completely through here. So, is that the leg? Oh, that's a leg. There's a leg. Work down the leg. Pull that leg out. Just don't pull anything else out. And with these little guys, don't pull too hard because you could pull them. You could pull the pieces off pretty easy. So, and then makes life harder for you. There you go. Okay. Got an idea where I'm at. Again, don't worry about how much meat you leave on there. The more meat you leave on there, the safer it is. Because you'll get it when you flesh them. So cut into the bone, cut into the tail. That's fine. After a while, you'll just get the idea of it. It's like, okay, yeah, I can cut there. I can't cut here. So we got along the tail here. Ooh, that's thin. Be careful. yeah, they are greasy, so they can be a little bit tricky. And these little guys, they don't have as much fat on them. And early in the season like this is when they're the easiest to do. Like, there's hardly any fat on this guy's tail at all, because he's such a little guy. But the one thing that you really got to watch out for is when they get more mid-season, or like, oop, didn't want to do that. I broke his tail off. But that's okay, because I'm practically through. I'm just going to pull the rest of the tail off. There you go. So now the tail's free. All the genitals are free. There still might be some that are kind of hung up a bit. I'm going to get this other leg through. The legs are always hard to see. You got to more feel through them. And again, don't worry about pulling through the meaty parts. There we go. Oh, there we go. Almost got the leg. At this point, with my hands the way they are, I don't want to go through the other side. I'll just take more time playing around on the meaty side, you know, to poke his leg through. Everybody has their ways of doing it. Some people poke all the legs through first. I've tried that. You'll come up with a problem no matter what it is. You're going to come up with some sort of a problem, whether the problem is, okay, you get the leg through. Okay, the leg's about to come through again. There we go. Now the second leg's through.